April 2023, San Antonio, Texas. Hi, this is Janet, and I'm Sly. Back in 2016, we both decided it was time to stop working, buy an RV, and start traveling the country and the world. And once the RV was pretty much the way we wanted it, we started our travels, and we've been doing it ever since. So join us as we explore this country and the world, and maybe we can even meet up with some of you along the way. Although we enjoyed our time in Killeen, Texas, visiting with Mark and Mary, it was time to go. And today's drive was only about 4 or 5 hours while we made our way down to San Antonio and Fort Sam Houston. We checked in at the Fort Sam Houston RV Park, and the next day we welcomed Mark and Mary. Hey look, they came down to San Antonio to spend some more time with us. They hadn't been to San Antonio for a while, so we had all sorts of great plans. We went up to the Pearl Brewery, parked our car, and then walked along the river from the Pearl Brewery all the way down to San Antonio and the San Antonio Riverwalk area. The whole trip, about 2.5 miles one way. The walk along the river from the Pearl Brewery down to San Antonio was nice. It was an easy walk, straight and level, a nice concrete path with all sorts of things to look at along the way. If you're ever in this area, I highly recommend this walk. It is really pretty. Along the way, you also get to see some locks. The ferry boats and the water taxis use these locks to get up from the Pearl Brewery down to the Riverwalk in the San Antonio area. And that's a good thing, because we kind of needed that later. Once we got to San Antonio, we wandered around the city a little bit and stopped for a drink. There is a lot to see in San Antonio. It's not just all about the Riverwalk. So it was fun to just walk the city, walk the streets, and see what there is to see before heading on down to the Riverwalk because our ferry was down there. Of course, the Riverwalk is also worth walking. There is a lot to see down there. Tons of restaurants, really beautiful places. So we took our time, explored a good chunk of the area before finally settling in and stopping for lunch. Mary is from England, so of course we stopped for lunch at a nice British pub. The food and the view was great, and of course it was only a short walk to the river taxi. Look, by now we'd walked a good 5 or 6 miles, and our car was like 2.5 miles away, so we decided river taxi. We're not walking 2.5 miles back up toward the brewery. And of course, we also wanted to see the locks from the inside. I've never been through locks on a boat before, so this was something new. Granted, they're small by standard, but still, it was worth doing. At the end of the weekend, we said goodbye to Mark and Mary because our next outing was on our own. We went to a nice speakeasy in San Antonio because, well, you know, Janet and I like speakeasies. This place had over 1,700 bottles of assorted spirits, and that meant whiskeys of all kinds, including bourbons and rye, which is what we like. We sat at the bar, made some new friends, and watched the mixologist practice his craft. I'll tell you, watching the mixologist is interesting. It's like watching somebody that's part chemist, part artist, making something uniquely yummy and beautiful. And although this speakeasy has lots of different custom crafted cocktails, Janet and I stuck to our bourbon and our rye. We tried a few different bourbons and rye that evening between watching the mixologist and talking to our new friends, but we ended the night with something truly special. Our final drink was a Blanton's bourbon for me and a Jefferson Rye Ocean for Janet. And that ends our time here in San Antonio, Texas, because it's time to move on. Janet and I both hope you enjoyed this video and that maybe you got some good ideas on what you could do if you ever visit this area in San Antonio, Texas. As usual, if you take a look down at the description below, you'll find a link to all the places we visited so that you can find them really easy. And that's where we'll leave it for now. And of course, Janet and I both hope that you continue to join us as we explore our next stop.